Good afternoon. Welcome to the Meltdown. Special hellos up in Fort Worth. Appreciate you listening in, folks. Really special somebody, and hope you're having a good day. Folks, this is a time where looking at what markets do and understanding certain aspects of what happens in economics is really very important. Now, let me expound on my thoughts. I worry about the 50-to-1 leverage that I've been talking about in the price of gold. For every contract long, there's 50 ounces committed. Well, according to information I read today, the numbers now go out to 100-to-1. COMEX warehouses report that inventories have dropped to 420,000 ounces from 2.6 million ounces in early 2013. It's the open positions that are now 41.6 million ounces committed. Now, contracts can be settled in cash. You don't have to receive, quote, gold and take physical delivery. You could cash them and take the monetary value if you play the contract accordingly. Problem is, there's no gold out there. The gold has been bought and it's secure and it's been put away in places most people aren't ever going to find. That's part of the benefit of it being non-ferrous. $20 gold pieces, all types of U.S. minted gold coins, foreign gold, bars, all of it is hidden, and ultimately central banks are the ones that have been buying it as heavy as anybody. Now, I know a lot of investors who have taken physical delivery of gold. And ultimately, when we talk about the coming and impending hyperinflation caused by mismanagement by governments, the numbers go into the stratosphere. To anticipate gold in the $2,000 to $5,000 range is pretty much on everybody's radar. The numbers can go up as high as $600,000 an ounce. I'm not going to tout it. I'm not telling you buy gold because it's going to be $600,000 an ounce. If we get to 2 to 5,000, then we can talk about 6. So there's a progression here. But ultimately, as you look at the price today, and you want to get back to the $1,920 figure that we saw back in 2011, the upside approaches, well, just slightly over 50 percentage points, which is all building a case for why you should be buying silver and not the yellow metal. Warehouses are getting emptied. People are taking physical delivery. When Germany asked to receive its gold that was stored here with the United States and in France, our response was, we need 7 years. Ultimately, the question comes back up on the plate with those to the right. Is there really any gold in Fort Knox? Well, that question isn't going to be answered. There hasn't been an audit there since the 1950s. Ron Paul tried for 26 years to get an audit of Fort Knox. Folks, it's not going to happen. And you can speculate all you want. True conspiracy theory deals with the simple fact that a currency must have something tangible backing it. Otherwise, it's worthless. Now, that's obvious here in the United States because when you can't pay your bills, you're given a free get-out-of-jail card. Actually, it's not free. You paid an attorney to go file a bankruptcy. But you get the opportunity, and it is our constitutional right to take bankruptcy. Some people are forced into it. Others just do it because they mismanage the funds. Regardless of the reason, our government, based on its monetary policy, is creating a problem at the rate of $1.5 trillion a year. Add to that the $1 trillion deficit, and now you're talking about compounding on top of the compounding. And the fact that the U.S. government is still buying its own mortgage-backed securities increases the depth. So where we claim, the General Accounting Office, the GAO, claims that our debt is somewhere in the $17.25 trillion range. That's on the national debt clock. Numbers and guesstimates take these numbers over $100 trillion. I look at the mortgage market and I look at the banking community, and there was legislation that was going to force the biggest 8 banks to, quote, raise their reserve requirements to upwards of 6%, but it did not pass. So that means that the banks are now permitted to increase their leveraged positions. We've gone back to 0% down mortgages. So the banks are taking in the property, they're issuing the mortgage, they're going to take your payment. But folks, there's nothing back in this stuff. Eventually, we're going to hit a brick wall. And when we hit that brick wall, it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt much more this time than it did the last time. Now, I also read a little bit today about the decision between Bank of America and the AIG settlement. This was to cover $174 billion of outstanding and bad loans. The settlement comes in at $8.5 billion. The loss is so great that BNY Mellon, which is running advertising, claiming that they control 20% of the world's assets, is absolutely up in arms because of the loss that they're going to look at taking with no recourse. Folks, it's not in the best interest of the government. Frankly, if you pump it all full of air and you blow it up again, you and I, the taxpayers, are the ones that are going to come in and be required to do the bailout. Same thing all over again. Bubble markets are cyclical, and we are creating them faster and faster to make things look good. But you know what? They don't look good. They look worse by the day. So for me, I talk about tangible assets. And the reason that I talk about them is that ultimately it is real money. Now, not everybody is in the position to buy a coin for $100,000 or to look at a piece of currency for $100,000 or $200,000 or $2,000. Marketing is about having available product. Part of the reasons that you see big companies advertise at 0.5% over cost or at 1% over their cost is ultimately because they want to get you to buy something. Once you're in the snare, once you've been snagged, then the marketing kicks into a different level. And dealers, quote, whether it's in rare coins or cars or anything else, start the bait and switch. It's been customary in the car business. There's one car advertised $3,000 cheaper than any of the others on the lot. But it's the stripped down version, and they'll sell you that car. And folks, most people don't want to own it. They don't want to own it because it doesn't have power windows or power locks. But it's the hook. It's what gets you into the dealership. Just like in our industry, just like in all industries. You know, the bait and switch in a grocery store. We're going to sell you ribs at, $1 a pound. But obviously, they want to get you to buy the better ribs or a different cut or whatever the other promotions are in a grocery store because they're huge. Now, we're going to hone in on what I do. We talk about coins, metals, we talk about currency, we talk about tangible assets because I remember reading about the Weimar Republic when it took a wheelbarrow full of marks to buy a loaf of bread. Do I think we're getting right back to that place today? No, probably not. Is it going to happen at some point? Probably. Do I expect that the value or the trade value of something like a gold coin is going to skyrocket in value? Well, we've oversold the market by 100 times. Yeah, I'm pretty sure something bad's going to happen. For me, I want to own different types of coins because the government has made it clear coins today are numismatic. That just means you should own multiple types of coins in multiple qualities, and ultimately it's those multiple qualities that allow you the ability to own things that other people are going to want. Now, $20 gold pieces, after 1907, that's how we made our balance of trade payments. We traded with Europe in the form of $20 gold coins. Now, there were 5s and 10s and 2.5s, but ultimately it was the biggest coins, and that's really what we wanted. We want those types of coins. literally because they make sense. Gold is tangible. When we did balance of trade payments with South America before we got across the pond, we did it in the form of $20 Liberty coins. South America being poor, they spent them. That's why most are circulated, particularly from 1850 through 1876. That covers the Type 1 and the Type 2s. Now, it's important to understand that when you look at these types of pieces, that there's a reason why you own certain coins over other coins. The first year, the 1850 New Orleans $20 gold piece. In extra fine 40, it's a $7,000 or an $8,000 coin. In AU50, you can buy them anywhere from $7,000 to $20,000 in AU50. And you're going to ask me the ultimate question, which is where I want to go with this show. Why? Why is there such a spread difference? Now, my buddy Joe, you ought to be tuning in. Whether you are or not, Jackie and Cindy, thank you for all of the people that listen to this. The reason that markets trade with such extreme spreads is that there are times when there's nobody in the room to buy a certain item. Now, a gold dealer is a gold dealer. Ultimately, not all gold dealers are nickel dealers or currency buyers. When there's no one interested in a specific item, the prices can bring ridiculously low figures. But when the same coin can trade for anywhere from a 1 to 300% spread, you got to understand that there are characteristics of every coin that make that coin more valuable. Clients look at the tag. This is an XYZ coin, this date, this mint mark, this quality, graded by the same company, and one trades for $200 and the other one trades for $7,000. It can be pedigree, it can be toning, it can be a number of different factors. And so the ultimate that I've got for anybody is to understand why. Why do certain items trade at a premium? Why are they going to command the premium on the other side? Ultimately, are you putting enough material together to command the premiums? Is your name going to matter in the great book of numismatics when it comes time to liquidate? That's what I'm really posing with you. And it's that question that leads me to tell you, if you just arbitrarily start shotgunning the market, trying to figure out what you want to own or why you should own it, then there's a whole new set of circumstances that have to be contemplated. If you just buy one or two things and you're going to put them away and you're going to sell them one day, then that doesn't really matter. But if you've got 50, 100, 500,000, you're still just getting your foot in the door and you're just starting to build a portfolio. See, for me, I want to own things that other people want, but I want to put together collections and sets of coins. I want the key date. I want the one that matters. When you can buy all the rest for a few $100s, but the one that's the most important is the one that costs as much as everything else, that's the coin that you want to own. And you want to own it now. You want to own it very quickly. And the reason you want to own that coin so desperately is that it's the one that everybody needs. Now, I talk about it in Indian pennies. Indian pennies were struck from 1859 to 1909. And it is absolutely critical that you own the right coins. So much so that when I look at what you should own, I want them to be the keys. An 1877 Indian penny, if all of the coins are the same quality, between 1859 and 1909, there's a 1908S and a 1909S. But if you owned all of the other coins in the same quality, the 1877 is the key coin. In the lowest grade, we'll call it about good 3 out of the scale of 1 to 70. That's called the Sheldon scale. then you find out that this coin is a $700 coin, maybe 600, maybe 800, could be 1,000, depends on the look of the coin, but heavily circulated. One that most people don't even want to own. It's the one that matters. And folks, if you went back to 1985, about 30 years, 28, 29, but if you went back in time and you paid $20,000 for an 1893 San Francisco Morgan silver dollar in mint state 63, the 20 grand seems like it would have been a ton of money. Today it's almost $250,000. That's a lot of money. And so what I'm going to tell you is that the history of numismatics dictates that the key dates and the highest qualities are the ones that tend to do the best. Today's coins are absolutely preserved at the time they're produced. We don't drop them in bags. We don't circulate them the way we used to. Today, commemorative coins are spouse gold. New coins are encapsulated, whether they're in proof or whether they're in business strike. They are protected. Limited mintages. Coins are supposed to be perfect. If a dealer submits enough coins, he'll get 70s. But he's going to get a lot of 69s and 68s. Personally, I can't tell the difference. I can only tell the difference when I get a phone call and someone asks me, what's that coin cost? Worse, what's it worth? Because worth is predicated on who you talk to. A dealer who doesn't know anything about $20 gold pieces is going to pay next to nothing for them. Ultimately, somebody who stole them and literally goes and sells them for 40, 50 cents on the dollar, sometimes 20 or 30 cents, that's somebody who is totally uneducated, and ultimately they take anything they can get because they're thieves. Coins and currency are graded, and there's a dozen companies out there that authenticate and grade. Ultimately, NGC and PCGS trade on a computer network because of their consistency in grading since the 1980s. CCE is the electronic system, and if you don't want to trade and all you want to do is have lookup capability, you can spend $175 and you can see the live bids. It's a question of who's got the money, what they're willing to pay, and ultimately cash is king in all businesses. There's a reason why a dealer is supposed to not just sell you and load your wagon until your axles break, but understand and have the time to be able to illustrate and find out what the goals and objectives are. Funny, yesterday afternoon I had someone who called in here. I guarantee you the guy was probably a coin dealer, but I didn't ask the question. But his questions were so pointed, he was trying to get educated. He wanted me to engage in conversation. Folks, my experience and my knowledge is what is the most value. Having been around the industry for nearly 3 decades, seeing what other dealers want to promote and understanding that you can ride on somebody's coattail and then sell when they change the horse that led the pack. In other words, if somebody's promoting $2.50 Indians, if you find out before the promotion begins, you could make anywhere from 40 to 70 percentage points. But to arbitrarily shotgun the market, see a whole bunch of coins that are listed, whether they're online or not, you're just taking a hodgepodge guess. There's 9,000 different coins. They come in 20 different qualities. There's billions of coins. So if you think you can buy enough material to manipulate the market, you're going to miss the mark. There's billions of coins out there. But knowing the right coins, honing in on the right coins, knowing what look matters, knowing how you get the plus sign or how you get the star, the eye appeal factor, how you get the CAC sticker, whether it's going to be green or whether it's going to be gold. Folks, there's a lot of different variables that you've got to consider when you look at this market. I love coins, and I try to explain that there are reasons why. If you take a coin to an uneducated dealer or another one that is just cutthroat ruthless, I illustrated to a client, it's probably been just before Christmas, but I've talked about it. The 2008 West Point silver dollar silver American Eagle, with the reverse of 2007. The difference is that there is one with a U, and it's just a loop. The other coin, the 2008, has a little foot where it came back down. One over the other is the difference between a coin that sells for $26 and another one that sells for somewhere between $600 and $1,000. Now, I told the client and illustrated it and explained exactly why one coin mattered over the other. And the client went to another dealer, and the other dealer said, no, that's wrong. The coin that you're looking at is worth 26 bucks, period. And because they had a second opinion, they thought, the client did, that that was accurate. I'll defend it to the death, because in the red book, it illustrates it. In the gray sheets, it illustrates it. Online, it illustrates it. Needless to say, the client didn't bring the coin back, in spite of the fact that I gave him an extra 450 bucks worth of silver. So I'm good with that trade. I'm good because there's cameras and microphones in the store. Ultimately, being brutally honest about some things is critical. And trusting people that don't deserve the trust, even worse. Now, I'm going to tell you that there's lots of different coins out there. And building a set of Morgan silver dollars can be done in the course of a day. Whether you do it properly, that's the question. And just because you can buy two identical graded pieces by the same company and one of them trades for $2,000 and the other one trades for $200 does not mean the $200 coin is the better value. I'll go to my grave trying to explain it to some people. But folks, that's why you come in and sit and talk. And we look at all of the different coins that are out there. You can throw your arms in the air over rare coins and insist that you want to stay in the cheapest silver or the cheapest gold. Doesn't faze me in the least. It's the client that understands what's bound to be made over the long haul that matters the most. And for me, it matters, it's paramount. I understand that markets get extremely volatile. And ultimately trying to understand why one market over the other is so crazy. It's that craziness that you need to pull back. If your age dictates that you're not going to need this money for 10 or 20 years, then that's a consideration. If you want volatility or you don't want volatility, risk versus reward. I can tell you that I think silver's really cheap and that we'll test $50 without a question of a doubt. I just don't know when. And it's markets appreciating that create the best opportunities down the road. Now, I do believe gold and silver will test new highs. They tend to. I believe that the stock market will test a new low. I don't think gold will. I could be wrong. There's no doubt about it. And ultimately, it's from that standpoint that I look at the fact that the dollar is up a little bit today. And at this time of the afternoon, the euro is up with the dollar. That very rarely happens. Crude oil is up. That means the cheaper gas prices back slightly under $3 are going to go back up. I'm sorry. And when I look at markets and I realize what's going on out there, it's the traders, D-E-R-S, not T-O-R-S. Traders, well, I'll save that comment. Traders look at the ups and downs and the cycles of markets. I can tell you that platinum is trading at about a 14% premium over the price of gold. You can still buy about 62 ounces of silver against an ounce of gold. And I can tell you that while the Nikkei was up last night, the Dow was down. And my little recession-proof IRA seems to be gathering more steam. I too have recovered from the fallout of the market back in 08 and 09. Markets are going to trade, and people are going to spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, millions of dollars on coins. And there's all kinds of different material out there. And it's knowing which coins based on goals and objectives. If you call me and you just say, Brett, what do you think is the best coin to own for the next 5 years? I have no idea. I'm not even going to take a shot at it because I can't take a guess like that. I'm not going to. I can tell you that on a day where I look at the stock market on a whole, knowing that the banking system is wrought full of mistakes and positions that could cost tens of millions and billions of dollars, a couple of the bank stocks are up today. It scares the bejeebers out of me. There are guys that are making a lot of money over in the Nikkei. They're making it in the dollar. They're making it in the oil pits. The bottom line is that it's the time to look at other markets. And if you've done the same thing, expecting a different result, consider what Mark Twain said. If you argue with somebody stupid, they're going to drag you down to their level, and they're going to beat you with experience every time. Yeah, maybe they pull the wool over your eyes once or twice, but the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, I can tell you that the premiums will move faster and faster up and down based on what's trading. And you can't base history off of your next move. There is not enough metal around any more than there's enough cash around if the banks start to run. If too many of you show up at the bank and want to cash in your CDs, if you've got millions of dollars or hundreds of dollars, and everyone shows up looking for the money, the banks are going to shut down just like they did in Egypt, just like they did in Cyprus, for a week and for 2 weeks. And folks, do you have enough metal around? Do you have the ability to barter and survive if there's a bank run? Oh, I can tell you a group of people that do. They're converting it to paper. If they convert it all, why, they can deal with the consequences. But folks, I look at what's going on in the bond market. I look at the gold pit, the oil market. I look at all of them. And it has always made sense. Whether you take 5% or 20 or 40% of your net worth and start to move it around, own rare coins, own precious metals, own things that other people need, want, and desire. It simply makes sense. And it's from that standpoint that you start looking into the future. I can't tell you when the disaster is going to occur. I can only tell you that it is going to occur. And I want a mix of rare items. I want a mix of cheap items, because whether it's to barter or whether I need something of value, you know, your car may break down and you might need to go buy a used car. That'd be a good time to have gold. I like silver, and if you've got the ability to store it and put it away and have it in a hidden spot, you're so much further ahead. Heck, today we can seal material in vacuum packed bags. You can put them in the ground. Just remember where the X is. That's why farmers tend to put it near a fence pole post, so that they remember where they put it all. Anyway, folks, this is that time. I'm telling you to be ahead of the herd, because this time when the herd turns, the available material will go away fast. It'll take somebody liquidating it to flood the market, and today when the market gets flooded with gold or silver, it's gobbled up fast, very quick. There's not enough metal around. Yeah, if you're going to spend $100 million, we probably can cover that order. Wait too long, and $1 million may seem like a challenge. 100,000 could be a challenge. Heck, I remember back in 08 and 09, the wall was papered with transactions, 4 to 6 weeks to get delivery. It's coming again, I promise. Anyway, I'm going to cut this show at about 30 minutes or so. I hope you got something out of it. If you want to email me questions, please, Brett, B-R-E-T-T, at thegoldexchange.net. That's Brett with 2 T's at thegoldexchange.net. You can call the store 281-548-2646. That's 281-548-2646. Option 0 will get you a live voice. If we don't answer the phone, into the phone system, please leave detail. Let me know what you're seeking, and I'll see if I can't help you out. Now, we're a little short-handed this week. God love her, Kelly's on vacation. Michael and I are here by ourselves, and we'll open the store back up tomorrow. But folks, if you've got questions about material, please ask questions. Look online, find the other answers that you may be seeking as you do your due diligence. But when you get done at the end of the day, give me an opportunity. I'll be more than happy to help you. Folks, I'm never try to get off a podcast without thanking Texas Children's Hospital, both the Downs Clinic and the Ronald McDonald House. Now, the Ronald McDonald House at Texas Children's is on the 4th floor. There's 20 rooms, houses 40, 50 people a night. If you can provide a hot meal, please call 832-824-8600. That's 832-824-8600. Nancy Allen and her staff will be more than happy to accommodate you, tell you what you need to do. If you can provide a tithe or an offering, please talk to them about that as well. The Myers Center is the Downs Clinic. It's really for disabilities from spina bifida to Downs to autism. And I love Dr. Ostermeyer and her staff. If you visit themeltdown.com, we've got a couple of banners up. Ultimately, the information is all kept anonymous for me. Your donations will get receipted so you can take them off your taxes. Folks, the people at the Downs Clinic and the Ronald McDonald House are very near to my heart because of the needs that we had in 2011 for my son Jason. Anyway, I appreciate anything you can do. I'm going to work with Michael over the next day or so to design another couple of banners that we're going to put up. I want to add a couple of other charitable organizations. Anyway, I appreciate you listening in. If you've got questions, there are over 500 shows, over 370 hours of audio. Go through the shows over the last few years. This isn't a message of gloom and doom. It's just a message of reality. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great day, good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.